interesting. In fact, I must reveal now to you and to my viewers that because now it's a matter of public record, that Peter Elindi, who is now in this Enecon Namcor case, because I picked up 2 years ago already in 2023 that he was married to 2 wives. Someone alerted me to it and said, look, bring the men to studio. It will be a very interesting story,
Absolutely.
especially men who are advocating for this.
Yeah.
We tried. He was, of course, not interested, which is okay. But it is, I mean, he, at that level, I mean, a wealthy man as he is, with 2 wives. Because, look, where I come from, our fathers were working here in Windhoek. Almost every man, or Walvis Bay or whatever, but almost every man from my village who was working here, while our mothers were based in the village, working the land there. Our fathers had women living with them, cohabitating with them here.
Yeah.
But it was not formalized. And our mothers were very, very angry about it. But maybe if it was formalized, everybody knows what the deal is, maybe it would have been a different thing.
Yeah, probably. I mean, to me, in this particular instance, is a situation whereby law lags behind, as it were. You know, like there's a practice, it's out there, but for one reason or the other, we are saying it doesn't happen, or it shouldn't be allowed under the law while it happens. So, as a way of drawing parallels, insofar as sometimes law lags behind, you would be shocked to learn that Windhoek is not a city, legally speaking.
Explain that.
So if you read the Local Authorities Act of 1992, it has different types of local authorities. You have Municipality Part 1, Municipality Part 2, Town Council, Village Council, Settlement, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a city in the Local Authorities Act. So legally speaking, there is no city in Namibia. In fact, I mean, some time back, I had a conversation with one of the legal scholars, and I put that to him, and he was like, I mean, yeah. So, but I think we can say without any fear of contradiction that Windhoek is a city. It qualifies as the capital city of Namibia. Yeah. But does it mean simply because the law doesn't recognize that, then all of a sudden it is not a city? So I'm trying to use that to demonstrate that sometimes it is the law that lags behind. So polygamy is a reality in Namibia. Various of our communities practice polygamy. It is accepted at the level of customary law. But I think when it comes to civil law, there is perhaps a reason as to why it is not recognized there. Because it will make things a bit messy in terms of, you know, liability, assets, and all this kind of stuff. So I think even Mr. Elindi, who is married to 2 women, one is married under civil law, and the other one is under customary law. So the moment he wants to have another wife under civil law, he would have to divorce the one that he has.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So under civil law, you can only have one wife.
And this thing about the red line and that people on the other side can, what are the practicalities around this subject?
Well, I must confess that I have not read much about that, but perhaps legal scholars can educate us on that. But, you know, arguably, when you are married north of the red line, automatically is out of community of property. But this side is in community. I mean, this side you can decide, as it were. But to me, I mean, if you look at marriage sociologically, you know, in critical sociology, some scholars actually argue that marriage is an institution that allows for collective consumption. So it allows capitalism to thrive, as it were. So, and you realize that when you broach the subject of, you know, polygamy and stuff, some women would actually put it to you and say, you know what, if he can take care of both of us, I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? There's an economic calculus that is then attached to the institution of marriage. And that's why you would realize that many a times polygamists are usually wealthy men.
Yeah, yeah. Just the Chamber of Mines released a report recently, and they listed just who owns which mine in the country, and the numbers are bad. Rossing, which is one of the major exporters of uranium, still has only 3% of government, but the government of Iran has 15%. And that is just an isolated example of others. Just your take on the state of affairs.
Thank you very much, Jabera, for having me, and greetings to the Namibian. And thank you for always creating this platform as a catalyst of disseminating information to the public,
Yeah.
and to also shape the discourse out there. Yes, first is to thank the government. I think NDP6 is promising, and I think the last time we had NDPs is when we had NDP5. I can't remember when, because in between there we were having Harambee Prosperity Plan. But I would like to congratulate the Namibian government and its leadership for this forward-looking NDP6. My hope is that we will be able to implement what we are actually promising the Namibian people. And thank you for picking Rossing Uranium, because previously, when I was the secretary of SWAPO Party Youth League in Swakopmund, I actually spoke about the shareholding arrangement of Rossing Uranium, where Namibian government is the minority shareholder, not even minority, is maybe negative minority shareholder in the shareholding arrangement of Rossing Uranium. You see, Rossing Uranium is actually harvesting one of the key natural resources Namibia is bestowed with, blessed with by God, and I think it put Namibia in the map, because I think if we are not the second, we are the first by now. If all the mining that are harvesting or mining uranium has come to operation, because now I understand Rangara Heinrich has also commenced with the operation. I don't know how far they have gone, but I think there's something happening there. So now, with this, one was really hoping that after 35 years of our independence, we were going to revoke some of this arrangement that has been there before independence. Of course, I think internationally there is that thing of inheriting everything that you find when you obtain your independence. But I think time has come, or we had enough time, so that by now we really go into some serious discussion, just like other countries are doing, because we cannot have resources that are within our terrestrial environment or in the shelves of our ocean, and we are benefiting very little, like we are doing in Rossing Uranium and other mining sites in the country. So it's very disappointing that up to now we have resources that are not benefiting Namibia and her people to the fullest, or to the appropriate manner it's supposed to be. Really, I was hoping that even the conversation and approach of government by now would have changed. I mean, look at what the Botswanan government has done. I think it has really demanded that the people of Botswana should benefit from their resources equitably. And I think that is what we ought to do as a nation.
We have a template already with NAMDEB and the BS here. I mean, the BS Marine and all these entities, 50% owned by the Namibian government, 50% by the BS, which is a South African company. Why can't we just replicate the same model across all natural resources, especially mining?
Exactly, and that would happen if we become just a bit radical. By the way, it's not even radical. It's just ready to say we need the fair share from the cake of things that are coming out of our country. Because if we could do it with De Beer, so what stops us from doing with the rest? But what we need to do is to really declare some of our natural resources as strategic resources, and then we do deliberate effort to really do baseline studies to understand how much uranium we have or how much of any other resources we have, so that we put it in monetary terms, so that we go to this negotiation. We have our resources nicely studied and converted into the monetary value, so that when we go on the table, when the investors are saying, this is what we are bringing on the table in terms of technology, in terms of maybe the fund to ignite the processes, then we say, okay, that is well and good. So on our side, this is how much amount of uranium we are estimating to have, and this is how much monetary value we attach to these resources. So really, it's good that you brought up the issue of De Beer. It's a good start. We're supposed now to continue building on that, and that will help us actually even to cement this thing of local content and beneficiation.
Because you see the NAMDEB breakthrough, if I can call it that way, it's not even, it happened, I think, under Andimbatewe Atoivo as minister in the 90s.
Yes.
And then 30 years or so later, we haven't done the same with the Rosings of this world. Rosing is just changing hands. It's now in the hands of the Chinese, and we are still just on the sideline with our 3%. One of the arguments that people are making is to say that, I mean, even in Namibian Sun, when we ran that story last week, which was well received by the public, there were people who were saying, especially some liberals, who were even saying it's propaganda by newspapers, but we just replicated and sort of made it easier for the reader. But it's information provided by the mining Chamber of Mines. We just really loosened it for the consumption of the public. But we are being accused by some people that we are driving a narrative, we are driving an agenda, and they went to say, look, you don't have to have equities. There are other ways to benefit from these things, and I think it's nonsensical.
You see, if it's an agenda, it's a good agenda and a progressive one, because it's in the favor of Namibia and her people. This country was fought for, and there were a lot of liberation songs that people were used to sing to boost up their morale. And one of it is that when we get our independence, we will patrol it.
Yeah.
So that patrol just doesn't mean patrolling in terms of military and other things. It actually means that when we get our independence, we will be able to decide for our destination or destiny. We will be able to make sure that whatever we have within our border, and that is actually zoom into what we call territorial integrity. So if we have resources, but we cannot benefit from them, what does it mean? It means actually we don't have independence. Maybe political independence we have, but the moment we don't have means of production, we don't own anything from our key resources. So what are we left with to develop this country? So if it's an agenda, I'm happy with that agenda, because it actually exposes the Namibian people to the right information. It cannot be right Jabera, that 35 years after our independence, we are struggling to change the arrangement that has been there. Only one, in terms of Diamond, De Beer, Namdeb.
We were speaking just now about two very prominent figures, of course, the Minister of Justice and Honorable Elijah Ngurare, the Prime Minister of Namibia. How has the Chevening Scholarship, the alumni actually added value to Namibia? Has that been something quite fairly easy to assess?
Well, I think the thing about the Chevening Scholarship scheme is that it's, in essence, it's a one-year scheme. So you go to the UK, you do your postgraduate masters, but it's more than that. It's almost like a lifelong connection.
All right.
So you have a connection to your fellow alumni in Namibia, of which there are around about 170 or so at the moment.
Yes.
But you also have your connection to the worldwide Chevening alumni. There's around, I think, something like 56,000 people around the world who've done this over the course of the last 40 odd years. So what we do here is we work very closely with the Chevening Alumni Association to keep that going, to provide a mechanism for them to talk to each other. They have separate discussions amongst themselves. And also there is a opportunity for Chevening alumni to also build on what they've done through project work. So every year they can bid for funds from Chevening to develop projects in country. And actually there's one going on this year which we're working with them on which is going to be looking at supporting the study of nuclear science in Namibia.
Wow.
So it's an ongoing relationship that builds year on year. It's an amazing combination of people. And when you meet the Alumni Association here, it's always fascinating to hear what people have done, what people are now doing. It's quite humbling in a way. It's so impressive.
Right.
And as I said at the beginning, such a wide range of disciplines as well. You never know who you're talking to in terms of what they've studied. It's quite encouraging.
All right. Now, in many ways, the scholarship capacitates people to be, influential in their home countries. What are you looking for, though, with regards to, people who you feel can, potentially add that kind of value to Namibia?
So there's a couple of things that we will be looking at as part of the applications. The first thing, obviously, is at the end of the day, you're going to do a master's degree in the UK.
Yes.
So strong academic background is always going to be important. But it's not just how good you are at a particular subject. What we're looking at is people who have got a really well-defined idea of what it is they want to do and why, and how studying in the UK is going to help to support that. And so the application process includes not just a CV and not just a series of references, but you'll be asked to do a number of essays, which will ask you questions around, what is your vision for yourself? Where are you trying to get to? What is your short-term and your long-term plans? How is that going to help Namibia? How is the subjects that you want to study in the UK going to help you to deliver that? So we're looking for, when we say leadership potential, it's not just leadership potential in terms of like leaders, but in different fields. How are you going to use the opportunity that Chevening offers to really drive your ambition to get to where you want to get to?
So it's not just about the people who have, competently ticked all the boxes from uni. You ticked the boxes with regards to your assignments, you did the tests, you did the exams, and now this would just be a nice, pretty degree. That's not it.
No, it's. I mean, of course, having a postgraduate qualification is always going to be beneficial.
Yes.
But it's around that being a means to an end rather than the end itself. And for many people, that's also the stepping stone to further study.
Yeah.
Often back here, a postgraduate master's might lead to a PhD, for example,
Yes.
in an area. So you're right. It's around. It's not just about your academic credentials. It's around identifying people who have real passion and commitment to the areas that they want to study in, and to effectively to make a difference.
I wrote in my editorial for Wednesday, I wrote that if the minister was dealing with the principal itself, the principle to say local authorities may no longer outsource debt collection to third parties.
Yes.
Third parties in general,
Yes.
I could understand. But to pick a Namibian entity that has never been found guilty of anything anywhere, and you target them and say that one, as if to say anybody else can come except this company. That is highly, highly unethical of the minister. I was mortified
Now you
listening
find
to that.
Just now you find this. Some people say, "Okay, yeah, it's correct." Now it means that now the minister can say that no, instead of Windhoek, please, Trevo is all the things is unemployed. Please make sure Trevo is employed.
Yeah.
Now and there the minister is also overreaching because the minister has got no authority in the operative. In the operations of any local authority, he's an oversight, but we also need to ensure that he must deal with the principal issue of capacity.
Yeah, I agree. So if that is what you were saying, to say, look, we as government are going to capacitate local authorities, we are going to increase our subsidy to the ministries, to the local authorities, so that you can employ more people. But I can tell you now, especially here in Windhoek, there's no way, even if you had 15 people in that department, there's no way you're going to, because it's such a big city, you will always need that extra hand. But to pinpoint and say, don't give it to that particular company, it's like saying there's a construction tender, then there's a company that you don't like and you say that one shouldn't be in contention. If it's blacklisted, maybe. But if it's just a normal company, I find it so there we agree. You spoke also at your press conference yesterday about the 100 days of the president. You are saying hope is under attack.
Yes.
You are saying that unfortunately the first 100 days have been dominated by symbolic events with no substance, reshuffling of corrupt officials instead of removing them, no decisive action on youth unemployment or housing, continued looting at local and national levels, protection of elites while the poor suffer.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Look, you see, these past 100 days we have just been having president just attending events. It's not. If I ask you now what tangible decision was made on housing, you won't be able to give me one. I mean, you're in the media, you have information every day. It's on your table. If I say on sanitation, what was the program there, you won't be able to tell me anything. But what I'm saying is that despite those shortcomings, we are very hopeful of her vision for the country. We are very hopeful for her thinking in saying that, look, there is a problem. This is how we're going to deal with the problems, and such one is the issue with the current Namota deal that has been loan that they have to upgrade water and sanitation within the northeast and northwestern regions currently now underway. But apart from that, I say, look, if you continue on that trajectory to ensure that these people get the necessary water, that people get the necessary housing, and people get the necessary support, even now with the social grants that she has that they have made, that they've moved to NAMPOS, which is very good.
Yeah.
But those are bits and pieces, and that gives us hope. That gives us inspiration that no, better things are to come. But if she goes back into the old wheel of being laid back, of just traveling, of just cutting ribbons and attending a conference and launching things, we're going to have a serious problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.